Okay, so today we have The Smiths Is It Really So Strange? Of course, this is another live performance from 1986 that was put on the Rank album. I always got to say that off the top. I did not do a Smiths reaction last week. As I've said in my other videos, I went camping on Friday last week, and I didn't have any other videos prepared. I apologize. But anyway, we're going to get into this. I've had big mouth strikes again in my head for the last couple days. I don't know why, but since we're at the Smiths, I thought I'd also mention that. But let's get into this live performance, first live performance I've seen of the song. This is another song that I don't come back to enough, so let's go.
What's that?
I left the north, I traveled south. I found a tiny house and I can't help the way that I feel. Oh yes, you can kick me, and you can punch me, and you can break my face, but you won't change the way I feel. 'Cause I love you. Strange. Or is it really so strange? Or is it really so strange? I say no, you say yes, but you will change your mind. I left the south, I traveled north. I got confused, I killed a horse, I can't help the way that I feel. Oh yes, you can kick me, and you can butt me, and you can break my spine, but you won't change the way I feel. 'Cause I love you. And is it really so strange? Really so strange. I say no, you say yes, but you will change your mind. I left the north again, I traveled south again, and I got confused, I killed a nun, I can't help the way I feel. Thank you.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we'll end it there. It's over. The Smiths Is It Really So Strange live from 1986. My glasses are fogging up. It's hot as hell, but I don't want to turn my AC on because it's too loud. Anyway, we'll continue on here. What I love about this, I've said it all the time now, coming back to these live performances, is I just love seeing the band at their peak, and I keep saying it, but it's crazy that, it's not crazy because of course tensions were rising within the band, but the music they were putting out so late into their career, which was a short career of the Smiths again, and it just how good it was. I mean, again, this is another song that came out in 87, I want to say. It was around, either way, 86, 87, near the end of their time, and again, it's still peak. It's still some people's favorite Smith song, and it's still such a Smith song, if that makes any sense. I mean, from the lyrics to Morrissey's delivery to his theatrics to the band just sounding so tight, the band sounding so good together. I mean, they just created magic with so many different songs, and this is another one. And I guess what I'm trying to say is they were creating that magic, late into their time before they split. But anyway, I just got to say at the top here, as I mentioned off the top, I have not listened to the song as much as I should have. It's a song that I don't come back to like other Smith songs. But what you think about is with this performance is how, I mean, right away, Morrissey has that growl, I guess you want to say, which kind of surprised me. And then he did it again at the song when he said thank you in like a monstrous gremlin way. And that's another reason why I keep coming back to these live performances, and why maybe I'll do it beyond just the Rank Live stuff. But just watching them be themselves even more through a live setting, and him being so loose, and him being Morrissey here, being so loose, being charismatic as he always is, and just being funny, I guess you want to say too. And of course, this song, many people have talked about how, and I don't remember what I said in my last reaction, when I did this song way back when, so I might be repeating myself, but I don't like going back and watching those old videos to see what I did, because it's cringy to me. But what I like is, people have said, he's talking about a friend that moved, from London to Manchester, or something like that. He's talking about a friend who moved places from north to south. People have also said, which I agree with, is he's pretty much talking about himself. People have also said that he's talking about his own sexuality, his what's it called? Bisexuality, I guess you would say. And either way, it's just all those different things come to mind. But the song sounds, it's so deadpan. It's so, and I always say, I already said it once, but it's so Smiths, and I don't know how else to say it. It's a quintessential Smiths song with these lyrics, and how he's being so self-deprecating. Of course, he doesn't mind being pushed around, kicked around, punched, and all these different things. Of course, he's still gonna love this person, whether they do that to him or not, because he's Morrissey. Because that's the way, that's the way it's gotta be. And that's the way he always is. And you always feel pity for him, or he always comes across as pathetic. And that's just what it has been for so many years. I mean, since this time. So anyway, it's such a good formula that he would reuse for so many different songs. But anyway, I'm going on to the sound here and talking more about the music and the voice. I guess the sound and the music is kind of the same thing, but I just love Johnny Marr, and I mean, my God, I fawn over Johnny Marr every week, but I mean, that's the point. We're here to react to different things and talk about it. So Marr's rockabilly driven performance here, and it's so great to hear it live once again. There's a bit of a country edge to it as well. There's an edge to it either way, but a bit of a country-ish kind of style going on too. But again, it's rockabilly, so there's going to be that kind of country feel to it too. But and rockabilly is something that the band would experiment with on different times in their short career. Morrissey would do it too into a solo career, but they just did it so well, that rockabilly kind of bouncy feel. And I mean, it's jangle pop. I mean, jangle and bounciness that fits together so well. You got Craig Gannon to mention, talk about guitar work. Craig Gannon is there too, as I always mention, to give an extra lift on the track. I did like to zero in on what he was doing at different points too. And just the little, I don't know, just the little inflections that he was doing, the little inflections that Johnny Marr was doing as well. Just watching him, watching his hands go was just something to behold, I guess, in a way. It's just fun to me, it's fun to watch his hands, and just to see what he's doing and his mastery. And as well, at one point when, now I'm thinking about Mike Joyce and his rolls, his snare drum rolls, and just how tight he was and how tight the whole band was. And as I always mentioned with Andy Rourke, his fluid, smooth, bass style just fits everything the band is doing so well too. His kind of bellowing sound really fits with the bellowing, I guess you'd want to say too, sound from Johnny Marr. Again, that created that very big and bold rockabilly feel, and which of course again drove the song most of the way. And I was gonna say, I like at one point when when Morrissey, who again, he just has free range to be as theatrical and as flamboyant as possible. So it's just great. And to watch him at one point when when Mike Joyce had a little bit of a fill or whatever you want to say, and Morrissey, started doing this and whatever, and he was pretending to be Mike Joyce for a second. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, they just exude character. They all just exude, especially I guess Morrissey again, exudes flamboyancy, to say again, and they just seem to be having the time of their lives. Although, like I mentioned, the time of their lives was over in a year or so after this. But anyway, it's just, I don't know. I love the vibes. The vibes are immaculate, as the kids say, and the song has to be one of the Smiths' most punchy songs. As I try to find the lyrics here, yeah, the songs have to be one of their punchiest efforts. And again, it's such a deadpan humor thing going on. It's again, I just love their style here. And it's as I mentioned already, a formula that they would use so many different times, but I never get tired of. And that's another thing. You think about the Smiths and you think about, I guess, people, because this is another thing that comes to mind as I've seen, more of my friends and stuff talk about the Smiths, or I see the Smiths come up on Instagram. And there's that feeling, and it's just when you have a surface level idea of the Smiths and you think about how they're one of the most depressing, saddest bands of all time or whatever, I've seen that. But you think about, again, a song like this where they're being funny. But even when they're being funny, Morrissey is being tragic in a way. But still, there are these moments, I think of Frankly, Mr. Shankly, or think of a song like this, Vicar and a Tutu, just these different songs that are a bit droll and that show that the Smiths weren't always just very depressing, like on a song like There's a Light That Never Goes Out. Of course, they have very depressing moments, or I Know It's Over, but they can also go to this range here where they're being a bit funny on purpose. But anyway, let's get into these lyrics now. What the hell? I've already talked about all the personnel, so I don't really need to go into that. But let's go on here, and I've talked about these lyrics before, but let's see if I've learned anything over the years. I left the north, I traveled south. My goodness gracious. And as I've mentioned, and as I've seen in an annotation here on genius.com, and I do also want to mention, I think he changes up some of the lyrics in this live performance, but still they're kind of the same no matter what. But yeah, he's kind of talking about himself, traveling north, traveling south. And I have also seen people, I don't know if they're going too deep, but they're talking about, he could be talking about his sexuality, and I just want to bring that up again because I don't know. But either way, travel north, travel south. I found a tiny house and I can't help the way I feel. And that's a big point of the track. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way that I love you, even if you don't love me. And who is this lover? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it a vegetable, a mineral, whatever? Oh yes, you can kick me and you can punch me. You can break my face, but you won't change the way I feel because I love you. And again, when you get in that situation, and if you want to take that into a literal context of this person is getting physical with the narrator, Morrissey, whoever, you would imagine that most people would say, all right, well, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. Then I should move on to somebody who won't punch me and kick me. But for Morrissey, once again, he's pathetic in this way when he writes like this on purpose. And he's going to stay around because what the hell? Why not? I love you so much. You can't change the way I feel. He's very persistent in that way. But anyway, and again, it's a bit funny and on purpose. You're supposed to kind of laugh in a humorous, deadpan way. And then we have the chorus. And is it really so strange? Is it really so strange? Oh, is it really so strange? I say no, you say yes, and you will change your mind. And no matter what you're talking about, I just love that line, those last two lines. I say no, you say yes, and you will change your mind. He's determined. He won't take no for an answer. And sometimes you do have to take no for an answer. But in this instance, in this chorus, when he talks about, is it really so strange for me to feel this way? Whether he's talking about a man or a woman or whatever, I think about too when people bring up homosexuality in the 80s and how it was frowned upon. And even today it's frowned upon in many different countries. But yeah, and how he's saying one day you will change your mind and you will think the way that I think. Either way. Yeah, there you go. So that's the persistence shining through again. Then yeah, the second verse, I left the south, I traveled north. I got confused. I killed the horse. I can't help the way I feel. And I don't know, I think about Morrissey being an animal rights activist, but I killed a horse. Either way, it's just more of that confusion. It's just more of that bizarre kind of vibe the song has the whole way through. Oh yes, you can punch me and you can butt me. I love that. And you can break my spine. It's just like, Jesus Christ, you can throw me against the wall, you can run over me with a car, holy moly. And you have the third verse here, I left the north again, I traveled south again. Lots of traveling, my goodness. I got confused, I killed a nun, I can't help the way I feel. And it's like, the song has some self-deprecating humor, and there's some serious lines too. And then you got these different lines like I killed a horse and I killed a nun that just make you kind of giggle and go, what the hell is, what? I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way I feel. I lost my bag in Newport Pagnell. I think is how he said that. But I think in this live version, he said I lost my wig. Either way, of course, this is a station. And you think of many different places, many different, stations of kinds, train stations, whatever, that are busy as hell, and you're just trying to get through, and you lose things, you drop things, and that's just a bit of a reality coming through there. You lose things. Everyone loses things in stations. Then we go on to the fourth verse. And the last one. Why is the last mile the hardest mile? And that's a very hard and vulnerable line. Of course, this is a vulnerable song. My throat was dry with the sun in my eyes. I just think of an image comes in my head of Morrissey crawling through a desert, the last mile, trying to get there, trying to get to that destination no matter what it is. And then we find out what the destination could be. And I realized I could never go back home again. And this whole fourth verse, after this whole song of being a bit bizarre and out there and maybe a bit confusing with some of those lines, as I mentioned with the horse and the nun, but the fourth verse is very much where he kind of sums everything up, or where he comes to his senses maybe. The whole way through, he talks about, you can throw me around, you can kick me, throw me off the cliff, I'll still love you. But at the end, it's like, is he coming to the realization that maybe he should move on as well? When he talk, I mean, the whole last fourth verse there, I got the sun in my eyes, the hardest mile is the last mile, whatever, to go back home. But he realizes he does not want to go back home again. And of course, back to the old house comes to mind too. And either way, so it's that point of realization. That point of realization where he just kind of realizes, I guess that's the point of realization, that things got to change. He talks about traveling north, traveling south. Is he going to stay in one place now because he doesn't want to go back home again? He knows that it's out of reach at this point, and it's not the same as what it used to be. So, just so many questions come to mind. But no matter what, the song is a banger. The song is a tune, musically especially. That's what I'm saying. Johnny Marr, just on his guitar here, is just so great. He's just so good at that rockabilly bouncy sound. It just makes you want to bop your head around. And again, in this performance, watching Morrissey pretend he's playing the drums like Mike Joyce, I mean, they were a bundle of fun here. Such a joy to watch as well. And yeah, for me, I mean, you can't help but smile when you're watching them play this live. So there you go there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all those different things. I'm going to go now and try to go into some coolness because I'm hot as hell. But thanks for everything. I'll talk to you guys again soon.